In a world where we have the most advanced medicine and tech, you would think that we would have flying cars or robots that help us do everything. Technically, we have the latter. ChatGPT is killing it. It's sad but true that we have something that I keep seeing time and time again, something I like to call a mental health crisis. This crisis is started by whom we surround ourselves with, but it goes even deeper than that, with medicines that our very doctors prescribe to us. Sadly for the United States and us, because we live here, we as a country have entered a time where everyone has a mental illness. It's like the new iPhone, or any iPhone for that matter, or when it comes to Oprah, when she used to give out panini presses, you get a mental disorder, you get a mental health disorder, everybody gets a mental health disorder. Instead of it being a prize that you can cook a pretty good meal with, it's a badge of honor that you put on your Instagram bio. I can see it now. Zimbos. What are those? I'm sorry for that. But jokes aside, instead of doctors working their hardest to prevent overdiagnosis or resorting to prescriptions as a last resort, they would rather just start with the prescriptions. They tell you that you have a mental health disorder that you clearly don't have. Because of the fact that they are a doctor and you aren't, you follow. It's the psychologists that actually prescribe these dangerous prescriptions to drastically change not only the way that your brain thinks, but also how you react to people. I.e., you may get mad easily or you could get more depressed. That's on the safer side. For gender dysphoria, they give boys estrogen to make sure that they turn themselves into a feminized version of themselves. We have seen this crisis show its true colors within the last couple of years. Just look at the Pride events. Getting back into the two main people of this week, one of them we reacted to on Sunday, the other, well, that was no other than Britney Spears, the master of hitting it one more time. She recently started dancing with knives in her hand, pretty clearly having a mental break. To the person we reacted to on Sunday, link below. Over the weekend, she posted a video of herself dancing with knives, and she acts like this stuff is just normal. But it's not. I'm not the only one that thinks like this. That's because of her friend. Her friend actually called the police on her, and they conducted a mental health checkup, the results of which have not been released as of Tuesday. But I can guarantee that she has a few bolts loose. And with that being said, she did have her conservatorship for a reason. In LA, in California more broadly, you need to have a really good reason to have a conservatorship, and she had a conservatorship. And she also lost her kids because of the fact that she actually held her kids hostage to paramedics that were trying to help a situation. So that's exactly why she has no rights over her children, and she also had the conservatorship. So she's slowly losing her mind, and it's because of those very reasons why she had the conservatorship in the very beginning, and exactly why she should still continue to have that conservatorship till today. Now, with that being said, we're going to be digging into McCarthy losing his spot at the speakership.
Facts over tracks, isn't that spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past.
Okay, so starting off, we actually have a Daily Wire article. We have McCarthy ousted from speakership after Democrats side with Matt Gaetz. Now, Matt Gaetz, for me, Matt Gaetz gets some things right, some things wrong. And this thing, I do think that he got wrong. And I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion. It probably isn't, because 216 to 210 vote. It is not an unpopular opinion. Now, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I don't really care, okay? I have this show for a reason. I say exactly what I'm thinking. This is exactly what I'm thinking. Matt Gaetz is wasting time here. This is what I think. If we're going to have less than 1 year until the election, shouldn't we hold the people that are in charge now still in charge and make sure that we get through as many things as we can to actually make sure that the voters of the United States realize that the Republicans mean business and we will actually get through exactly what we say? So yes, I do understand all of the facts, and I understand all of the other side that Matt Gaetz is bringing up. But Matt Gaetz is not a serious person. He tried voting for Donald Trump for the House Speaker a couple months ago. So yes, this isn't a full attack on Matt Gaetz, but also at the same exact time, he's not a serious person. He voted for Donald Trump, number one. Number two, Matt Gaetz does not have any concessions that he actually wanted McCarthy to follow. And if he did, because I did see some of them, he did, and I stand corrected, he did. But those are not doable. You cannot expect Kevin McCarthy to get through a bill that has 30% reduction in cost for the United States, a 30% reduction in the spending bill. You can't expect Kevin McCarthy to put this through when we have Democrats in the Senate and Democrats in the White House. How is he supposed to put this through? And even if he does put it through, it's just going to go to Joe Biden's desk and Joe Biden's going to veto it. So it's like, it's a losing battle for McCarthy, and I don't feel bad for McCarthy, no, because he signed up for this. This is exactly why everybody else did not want to do this, and this is exactly why they put themselves into the worst situation. They had about one person that was actually running for the speakership in the Republican aisle, and they just ousted him. So this is just a crazy thing. We're going to be talking about an article that a new report that just came out about Kevin McCarthy also, and it is saying that he doesn't even want to run for speakership again. So it's not like he wants to go through all of this again. He was speaker for a couple months, and then he was ousted, and now he just gave up. He's like, no, hell with that. I'm not going to do that anymore. And if I was him, I would be doing the same exact thing. Now, obviously, I would be a lot more conservative than Kevin McCarthy, and I would not have been ousted in the very beginning, but that's just me. But moving right from that, Kevin McCarthy, he's wasting time. Matt Gaetz is wasting time. Now, this is the thing. This is the ultimate thing. Who is going to replace Kevin McCarthy? Who? I'm just trying to understand who is going to replace Kevin McCarthy. Because there's one person that they were talking about replacing Kevin McCarthy with, and he's in the hospital right now. Before he went to the hospital, he actually said that he did not want to be House Speaker. So I'm just having a hard time understanding exactly where these people are coming from. It's Scalise. So Scalise was the person that actually said that he would not want to be Speaker. So it's like, yes, he will be a better option, Scalise, but at the same exact time, he said he did not want to do it. So is he going to change his mind? I highly doubt that. I wouldn't. So let's continue with this article. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, Republican from California, was forced to vacate the speakership on Tuesday after Democrats voted in support of Rep. Matt Gaetz, Republican from Florida, motion to vacate the speakership. The 216 to 210 vote marked the first time in the United States history that the House has ever removed a speaker. That's crazy. Imagine holding that title. The last time that a speakership was even challenged was more than 110 years ago. The other 7 Republicans who sided with House Democrats included Reps Amy Biggs, Ken Bach, Ellie Crane, Bob Good, Matt Russendale, Tim Burchett, and Nancy Mace. Rep Patrick McHenry has been named Speaker pro tempore to preside over the House until a new speaker is named. So Patrick Henry is now the speaker until they actually have a speaker, and he recessed the House for conference meetings. McHenry slammed the gavel hard out of apparent frustration over the situation. So McHenry, this is going to be the grand slam over here. Now, let's actually listen to this, because I'm actually kind of excited here. Oh, you can tell. Oh, I saw this video. Oh, wait, I saw the video, and you could tell. It's a grand slam. They're not kidding. They're not kidding.
Chair declares the House on recess, subject to the call of the chair.
Damn, that was personal.
Chair declares...
That was personal. Oh. People are saying that Patrick McHenry is going to be added as a fighter in Mortal Kombat, and his weapon will be the gravel. So that's just funny. That's funny right there. That was personal. I can't. The move to force McCarthy out angered numerous Republicans, ranging from former President Donald Trump, who blasted the small group of Republicans for fighting with other Republicans to more moderate members of the Republican conference. Okay, so Trump keeps flip-flopping on if he likes Kevin McCarthy or not, and Kevin McCarthy keeps flip-flopping if he likes Donald Trump or not. So Kevin McCarthy would do something, and then he would do, and then see the wind, and then say, oh wait, I actually don't like that, and then he would do, and then he's like, wait, I actually do like that, and now he would go like, and then he would see what Trump's reacting with, and then he would change his answer based on that. So it's like he has no backbone because he had no support, and he had no support because he does not have any backbone. So it's like, what do you really expect? I expect nothing less than that. Okay. This is a distraction from what we should be focusing on, which is the appropriations process, said Main Street Caucus Vice Chair Stephanie Bryce, Republican from Oklahoma. This is all about Matt Gaetz. It's not about Kevin McCarthy. Matt Gaetz is using the American people as pawns in his narcissistic game. I don't know if that's fully true, but this is exactly what other people are saying. A lot of people are saying that Kevin McCarthy is not a conservative, he's a Republican, and there's a difference. I mean, I can see where all of these people are coming from. Also, at the same exact time, what do you really expect? This is Kevin McCarthy. I mean, Kevin McCarthy has been here. He's been showing us his true colors at the same exact time as all of this. We already knew all that. Okay, we already knew all that. We can't act surprised. At the same exact time, we don't have anybody else to replace him. But this is a report from him not running again. McCarthy, this is a Daily Wire article. McCarthy will not run again for House Speaker. Report. Rep. Kevin McCarthy will reportedly not run again for Speaker of the House after being voted out of the position, the first time such an event has happened in the United States history. Breaking news: Kevin McCarthy will not run for Speaker again. Punchbowl News reporter Jake Sherman said he's about to make the announcement in closed GOP meeting. Sherman said that in the closed-door meeting that McCarthy did not want members to be angry over what happened and that he placed his trust in God. He said that he had refused to try to save his speakership by working with House Democrats because it is not in the best interest of the House Republicans. He noted that the 8 Republicans who voted with the House Democrats, Rep. Matt Gaetz, Andy Briggs, we already said all this, were not looking out for the best interests of the Republican conference. He encouraged the members to vote together when selecting the next House Speaker and not to drag out the process to 15 rounds like he had to go through. Yeah, so I remember that. That's exactly why I was so upset in my initial reaction to this, because of the fact that it took so long to actually get an answer onto if he's going to be the House Speaker or he's not going to be the House Speaker. So that's why I was so upset, because I'm like, oh my God, we're going to need to go through this again. So hopefully we're not going to need to go through this again. Hopefully we can come together and say, listen, if we just got rid of Kevin McCarthy, maybe we can get somebody else better. And if we get that somebody else better, then we need to start saying, listen, let's work together. Let's get it done. We have less than a year left, or we have about a year. We have 13 months until the election. We have about 10 months until people start forming exactly who they're going to vote for, because people don't choose who to vote on the voting day. So it's like, what's going on here? Okay? We need to be strategic in our plans to actually use our political power to push our political agenda. That's exactly what the Democrats do. So, moving to with the next article, we actually have another Daily Wire article where Mexico's president says that 10,000 migrants a day is heading to the United States border. This is going to be another border surge as we had before. It was just crazy. So, 10,000 migrants are heading to the United States border on a daily basis, Mexico's president said this week. Mexican President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, I'm going to butcher that name, made the remarks on Monday, saying that thousands of migrants making their way north through his country often hail from other countries, the Associated Press reported. About 6,000 migrants a day will come into Mexico from Guatemala in the last week, contributing to the surge at the United States border, Arboreto said. Arboreto, I can't say the name, okay? I'm sorry. Criticized the United States for economic sanctions on Cuba and Venezuela, saying that the sanctions are contributing to the stream of migrants heading to America. Many of the migrants are currently arriving at the southern border, are fleeing economic and potential upheaval in Venezuela. Last week, the Mexican president also criticized the United States for giving large amounts of aid to Ukraine, saying that the United States could instead invest in developing the poor Latin American countries from which many migrants come. They don't do anything, Alberto said of the United States on Friday. It's a lot more what they authorize for the war in Ukraine than what they give to help with poverty in Latin America and the Caribbean, the Mexican president said. Meanwhile, the migrant crisis at the border has been ramping up in recent months, and the United States border authorities have struggled to handle the huge influx of people crossing illegally, as they did from the very beginning. In August, there was roughly 233,000 migrant encounters at the southern border, the highest August on record. Customs and Border Protection (CBP) said the number of marks a jump from under 184,000 encounters border authorities saw in July. Last month's numbers are a significant rise from August a year ago, when there were only 204,000 migrant encounters. September's numbers have already tens of thousands of encounters higher than last year as well. Some border communities are so impacted by the problem that they have sent migrants up north. The Democratic mayor of El Paso, Texas, said last month that the city has reached a breaking point. Chartered five buses to take migrants to New York, Chicago, and Denver over the weekend. El Paso was seeing more than 2,000 migrants a day last month, pushing the border city's shelters and resources past capacity. Up north, major cities are battling the migrant crisis as they attempt to shelter thousands of people arriving weekly. New York City is struggling to metabolize more than 113,000 migrants who have showed up in the city since last spring, nearly 60,000 of whom are still being housed in the city's dime. The city has already spent more than $1.2 billion on migrants and is projected to spend up to $5 billion. The issue will destroy New York City, Mayor Eric Adams, a Democrat, said last month. We're getting 10,000 migrants a month. Every community in the city is going to be impacted. Chicago has been scrambling to respond to the migrant crisis before the cold winter months arrive. The country's third largest city has experienced an influx of about 14,000 migrants recently, many from Venezuela, has already spent at least $250 million on the issue. How can they spend so much money and the issue's not solved? This is a America problem, because of the fact that only in America that you can spend $250 million and you didn't even touch the problem yet. So it's just crazy. I mean, it's just a crazy time that we live in also, because at the same exact time, it's not going to get better unless we start enforcing the policies that need to be done. And yes, that's a Kamala Harris sentence, but I'll explain it, unlike Kamala Harris. So we need to, number one, make sure that we have border security in the thousands, okay? Because if we do not have border security at our front lawn, then we're not going to be there when it gets to our back lawn or at our actual house, which is America. So we cannot let the wall go unfinished. We cannot let ICE Patrol get unfunded. We need to fund ICE Patrol. We need to hire thousands and thousands of more troops at the border. We need to make sure that these people coming in America are actually people that are fleeing the country. Number 4 is the fact that we need to make sure that these people know that the process of coming in America is a legal and safe way. Instead of going through the border, going through all of these spines, going through all of these trials and tribulations just because of the fact that you don't want to sign a couple papers to come into the United States. It's just a sad day. But with that being said, we're going to be moving into the last article, which is a Federalist article. We have Kevin McCarthy loses speakership on Matt Gaetz-led charge. So, Rep. Matt Gaetz successfully ousted House Speaker Kevin McCarthy by a razor-thin margin on Tuesday afternoon. Gaetz rallied 8 dissatisfied House conservatives to vote with Democrats, ending McCarthy's speakership by a margin of 216 to 210 votes. Never in the history of the United States has the Speaker of the United States lost and posted a motion to vacate. As Republicans prepared to take back the House last fall, McCarthy addressed questions about whether he could win the speakership in an interview with The Federalist. "I've had people push to do different things," he said, "but if we were able to be running for Speaker, that means that all you've ever done is win, and I don't think that you change the coach then." After McCarthy's 269 days atop the conference, Rep. Patrick McHenry, a Republican from North Carolina, now serves as interim speaker. McCarthy could win a vote to reassume the chair, but Republicans are looking to other members, from Rep. Tom Emmer to Rep. Steve Scalise to Rep. Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan already said no. Scalise already said no. So, I mean, Tom Emmer would be the only other option, unless Jim Jordan changes his mind, which I would love Jim Jordan to be up there, just like Rand Paul. Rand Paul isn't even in the Senate, so I would rather them just vote him in. Okay, you can vote anybody. Just vote him in. If he gets enough votes, why would he say no? Just say yes. Be the House Speaker, okay, because we need a conservative, a real conservative. Rand Paul is a real conservative. We need somebody up there that's a real conservative and that will actually get conservative policies pushed through legislation. So, that's just my opinion on the matter. But speaking on the background of the vote, one Republican lobbyist said that Jordan feels like the guy to me, but cautioned that it would become cleaner after the GOP conference met later on Tuesday evening. Gaetz floated Emmer as an option. A senior GOP aide told the Federalist on Tuesday that Emmer, an establishment steward, is seen as playing a crucial negotiator role in HFC wins this year. House Republicans are thrust suddenly back to the chaos of early January, failing to cobble enough votes together to elect a Republican speaker with the party's narrow 9-member majority. McCarthy, who yielded to Paul Ryan, when John Boehner stepped down in 2015 and assumed the minority leadership position in 2019, proved to be the only person capable of bringing together enough centrists and conservatives. And even then, it took him 15 ballots and a host of concessions to get the gavel. Indeed, it was one of those very concessions that enabled Gaetz to yank the gavel from his hands. On the heels of McCarthy's weekend deal to avert a government shutdown, before Rep. Nancy Pelosi made a change in 2018, having watched former Rep. Mark Meadows, Republican from North Carolina, challenge Boehner's regime, the motion to vacate the speakership could always be filled by one member. As CBS News reported in January, under Pelosi, a motion to vacate could be offered on the House floor only if a majority of either party agreed to it. In order to become Speaker, McCarthy conceded to members of the Freedom Caucus that he would undo Pelosi's change. Citizens for Renewing America President Russ Vought, an ally of the Freedom Caucus, who served as Donald Trump's director of the Office Management and Budget, released a statement on the heels of Tuesday's vote, calling the motion the most critical and of the concessions made in January. If Kevin McCarthy were able to violate the power-sharing agreement, the motion to vacate would be available to topple the coalition government in exchange for a new one, said Vought. He did that twice, on the most vital leverage points that provided opportunities to check the Biden administration instead of working with conservatives. He chose to go into coalition with the House Democrats on those crucial votes. Vaught's statement referred to McCarthy's deals to lift the debt ceiling in May and to support a package of continuing resolution on Sunday that would fund the government for another 45 days. Quote, no significant policy priorities have thus been achieved. None, added Vought. Today, eight brave members took action against a status quo that offered no hope for any different results. With Freedom Caucus conservatives, including Rep. Jim Jordan and Thomas Massie, Republican from Kentucky, speaking on the floor in McCarthy's favor, the fight over McCarthy did not fall along neat ideological lines. For conservatives, the vote demanded members pick their poison. With slim margin in the House Democrat controlled the Senate in the White House, Republicans had little power to fundamentally undercut Washington Uniparty Party. The options were to take small wins under McCarthy or cast the conference into chaos, hoping the move would scare GOP elites enough to outweigh the little victories. The legislative process is not about clean, predictable outcomes, the senior GOP aide told the Federalist. It's about the representation through deliberation. It gets messy, and that's why we're here. No, there's no deliberating. There's no deliberating. No, not anymore. You don't sit here and you're sitting here and you're talking about the bill, and you're arguing about the bill, and you're debating about the bill. You're not sitting here doing that anymore. You're sitting here, you're saying, here's the bill, read it quick. Okay, you ready? Okay, boom, let's vote on it tomorrow. Like, it's a stack this big of papers, and you're going to read that in one day? No, you're not. You're just going to sign it. Boom, sign. You're signing all of these things. You're not reading these. No, it's just stupid. But with that being said, we need to get a new speaker soon. We need to get it ASAP because of the fact that we cannot go another day without a speaker. We cannot go another day without passing legislation that will get us reelected in 2024, because we cannot have 4 more years of Joe Biden, because this economy is ruining my wallet. I don't even have a penny to my name anymore. It's just crazy. Okay, this economy, you go to the market and you're ready to spend $400. You didn't even get anything yet. You're just $400, boom, taken right out of your bank account, just because of the fact that you took that cart out and you just placed one slice of turkey in there. Let's get it together. Yes, I'm filming this at 12 o'clock a.m. because of the fact that I want to get this out for the morning. So yes, these are eye bags here. These are eye bags. With that being said, we're going to round off this video here. If you did like this episode and you do want to see more, please like and subscribe down below, because we do post new episodes of this show every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you all for watching. I hope they have a great rest of your day. If you do want to be alerted every single time I do post a new episode, short or segment of the show, please like and subscribe down below and turn post notifications on because you do get notified every time I post. Thank you all for watching and I hope they have a great rest of your day. Bye.